That's okay. I don't think we need it.
Wow.
Come on, doggy.
Hi, everybody.
Danny's trying to eat me.
Well, you're tasty. Loki, stop it.
Sit.
We don't need it. I told you that. I called you and said we don't need it.
I said something about you don't need the lamp.
Well, the light bulb doesn't do any good without the lamp.
No.
Why is Coco?
No, down.
Why is what now?
Why is Coco not watching?
No one's watching yet, my love.
I sat here
no. No.
Loki, are we going to have to put you back in your pen?
I don't know if he's
Loki.
gonna let it go.
Loki, go lay down. Go to your little puppy form.
No.
Loki, stop it!
Are we also doing live on Instagram as well?
Are we also doing it as well?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Also as well.
No. I have to wear these shoes. You can't eat them.
That's probably crooked for most people. I should turn it this way. Hi, Instagram. Hey, Luke. He says hello.
Hi, Luke.
Can you hear her okay?
Why is he watching on Instagram and not on YouTube?
I don't know. You have to ask him. He can't hear anything. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Locadoodle.
Mm.
There you go. I think we're in case you need to change.
I'm a bunny. Ah, okay, good. I'm a bunny. It was him. Can you hear Adog now? Adog, speak.
Hi, Luke. Where's my treat?
Eat a treat? What?
You gave me a command. You said Adog speak. I spoke. Where's my treat?
Okay, and she's loud enough? What's this picture you have? Hey, savages. I don't know if you can see that, but they waved.
I saw it.
Okay, good.
I waved.
So that's 2 people. Should we get started or should we wait a little bit to see if more join?
I think someone needs to message Hot Coco and tell him that he needs to be watching this. I'm upset.
Okay. Everybody, over here we have Steven.
He's beautiful.
I don't think you can see me.
No, we can't. Just say hello.
Hi.
Steven's here as well.
He waves.
He waves. He will be helping us with the interview. If he thinks of any questions, he's going to jump in. If he thinks of none, then he's not going to help. He won't do anything.
And we have our team pop on
But
the
his
floor.
presence is always appreciated.
Very true. Very true.
I have texted Coco.
Thank you.
Well, we have 2 on Instagram and none on YouTube.
Well, our main one is watching it on Instagram.
Our main one?
The main one that watches us on YouTube
is on
Not
Instagram.
watching it
Yeah,
on
Luke,
Instagram.
you're messing us up here. You're screwing with life.
Dare you?
All right, well, we'll get started here. So before we actually get started into the interview, for anyone that doesn't know, I've decided to start doing paintball interviews of particularly YouTube paintballers, but just paintballers in general, whether they're on YouTube or not, or online or not, whether it be people I know or people I've never met or people I've met online. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do them all if I can. They'll come out on Wednesdays. We're going to start, obviously, today with Adog. Hers is going to be live. This will be the only live one as far as I know. I believe it. He says it's too early for the West Coast. People are stuck in traffic. I believe it. I was stuck in traffic for a while myself there. Got home like 2 hours later than I expected. So thanks for that information. That's actually good information. They can hopefully watch it later. But anyway, so this is going to be the only live one, at least as of right now. I'm going to probably record them and edit them together. But we want to do the first one, the inaugural one, is live just to get everybody psyched about it, I guess. This will also be the only one on Instagram. The rest of them will all be on YouTube. But we will post on Wednesdays on Instagram, with a link to that video, just to make everything easier on us and more consistent, more cohesive, I guess is a good word for it. But we're going to start with Dunedain as a whole. So Adog's first. I already have Coco's recorded, so he'll be next week. Luke, you'll be either the week after or the week after that. Eric is coming up soon as well. We may do Corey. Anyone else affiliated with Dunedain, whether they've been on the team in the past or they still technically are as a secondary, they may be on here as well. But for right now, definitely just the current team members. Fert I've talked to, Ray I've talked to. They're both willing to do it. We just got to figure out when we can, which is always the harder part. But after Dunedain's done, we'll probably nail those out every week on Wednesdays. After that, because I'll be going to other people that aren't on the team, it'll be a little harder and might take a little longer for us to actually get those going. So they may be, every 2 weeks or even every 3 weeks, depending on how often I can, get those interviews done. But with that being said, we'll get into Adogs here. So I guess first thing you should do, Adog, is introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Adog. Actually, Adriana. I'm the wife of this fool.
That was rude. That was really rude.
I love you.
That hurt my heart.
Love you very much. Everybody knows how much I love you. So I'm allowed to call you a fool.
That really injured my internals.
No, it didn't.
So the interviews are going to be pretty open, pretty loose. Nothing like too intense. No, nothing really hardcore. But hopefully the questions will just be loose enough that she can just go on a spiel and talk, and give you kind of just introduce you to who she is and how she got into the sport and why she likes it. And hopefully this will introduce new people, not only to us, but Luke says you love corgis as well.
I do. I don't know if that has to do with anything.
But it'll show people, not only who we are, but just who paintballers are in general once the other ones start coming out, and hopefully get new people involved in the sport. So first question I have for you, Adog, is when did you first play?
The first time I played I was a senior in high school, and my best friend at the time, her brother, was on a team, and she drove me. I think we went to Greensburg because it was an indoor place. They gave me a mask and a gun and told me to just run, and I ran to a Dorito, and I stayed in that Dorito for about 30 minutes, and then the game was over, and I was like, why did you make me do this? And that was pretty much the start of my paintball legacy right there, staying behind a Dorito.
When did you say that was?
Senior year of high school.
How old were you at that time?
I probably wasn't even 18, so 17.
So 47 years ago?
13 years ago.
13 years
Yeah.
ago. Now, I assume that you did not play. Actually, I know, but you did not play consistently after that. Is that right?
I played one more time. I think I played at Three Rivers because then we did Woodsball. That was much better for me. But I only remember playing there once as well.
When was that?
The same time. So before I graduated high school.
And did you like it right away?
The Woodsball I liked. The speedball scared the crap out of me, and I never wanted to go back onto and hide behind a Dorito ever again.
Did you rent your equipment for all that?
I think they had equipment. They had everything.
So you just stole everything from...
I was given and then borrowed, and then they never asked for it back.
The pants. But what about the gun and the mask?
They took that. I honestly don't remember. I just remember running behind the Dorito and using somebody's gun. They were a team, so I don't remember running equipment. I do remember buying paint and thinking that it was ridiculously expensive.
So this was obviously before you and I met.
Yes.
When did you play again?
When we went to Slippery Rock Camp. I think that.
When was that?
October of 2014.
And did you have fun that day?
Not really.
Oh.
I wasn't there very long. I played 1 or 2 games. The guy was talking about holding a flag and being Jesus, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. I don't think I really got into it until Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings scenario, I think, is when I first actually enjoyed playing.
So you didn't like it right away, or you liked it, but you didn't really get into it right away.
Yes.
So you started getting into it at the Lord of the Rings scenario.
Yes.
And when was that one?
August of 2015. Yes. August of 2015.
So was that was not our first scenario, right?
No, it was not our first scenario.
What was our first scenario?
DJ was our first scenario.
2015?
2015.
And
June of 2015.
Why didn't you like that one?
Because I sat in the hall for an hour and felt like I wasn't doing anything or contributing or being a part of anything. And I sat in a hole for an hour. And then I ran out of the hole. I got lit up. And then nothing broke on me and I retreated back. And I finished my day in the hole.
Awesome.
I know. Aren't you proud to be my husband?
I'm incredibly proud. But that was a very special day, wasn't it?
It was a special day.
Why was it special?
Because I asked you to spend the rest of our lives together.
What did I say?
You said, I guess so.
So you proposed to me at D-Day 2015.
Yes.
Cool.
Indeed. Although you were upset because you didn't win a gun or free paint or a mask.
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and tell how that happened, why I was upset about it.
So at scenarios that are held at Three Rivers, they have raffles at the end. And I remember going to Alex in the beginning, knowing that I wanted to propose to you. And I was like, you can't let him think he's going to win an award because he'd be real mad at me. And so it was like the end of the raffle that you had to get a special ticket. And she held up a bag. It was the mystery surprise raffle thing. And somebody screamed in the audience that it was a shoe. And that upset me because it obviously didn't look like a shoe. And who raffles off a shoe? And it was the last prize given. And you were all excited because you won. And I followed you up there. And I gave my little spiel. And I went down on one knee. And I asked you to spend the rest of my life with me. Your life with me. That's better for everyone. And then your response was, I guess so.
Good story.
Right?
Yeah, I felt like I should have won something, but no. Was there anything else special about that day? About that scenario?
We won Most Valuable Team.
And that was our first team scenario.
It was our first scenario ever. But yes, as technically Dunedain, it was our first scenario.
I mean, cool. Most valuable team. But you didn't enjoy it.
I did not enjoy it, but sitting in a hole for an hour and a half. I think the real problem was that because I chose to propose to you, that I just wanted it to be over. So that hour and a half really dragged. Also, I wasn't very good at the sport, and it still scared me at that time. So I couldn't really get into it because I wasn't into it. So now, like, looking back on it, it's still not technically my type of gameplay, as you know, but they don't know that I'm not there's a lot of people shooting at me scenario game player. But I lost my train of thought. But looking back on it now, I could have made it more fun and just went and just started running. But I think with not knowing the type of game it was and being very new, I didn't let myself enjoy it as much as I do now.
Something happened.
I think you zoomed in or
no,
you
I
switched the camera.
I switched the camera. Okay, it's fixed now. So Luke has switched over to YouTube now, and he wants to know if Adog is the alpha of our relationship.
I'm the man of the relationship. We all know this. I wouldn't say alpha. I'm definitely the man. I'm the one that gets yelled at for doing everything wrong.
Makes sense.
I wear the pants.
So you started. So our first scenario was D-Day, but you didn't really start enjoying the sport until Lord of the Rings. Is that right?
Yes.
And since then, you've fallen in love with it?
I wouldn't say fall in love. The better I get at it, the more fun I have with it, and the more love I have for it. I don't want to say love. That's a strong word for me.
What do you want to say?
I enjoy it. It's a good time. It gets a lot of stress out when I feel kind of powerful, especially with the wins. I feel powerful.
Cool. So you mentioned that scenarios still aren't really your thing. What is your play style? What do you enjoy most?
I like Woodsball, and I like being able to think about moving and strategizing before I do it. I don't like being in a small area with a lot of people. So even when we do open play and there are so many people there, for example, they do a turkey bowl at Three Rivers, and there were about 20 people on the one field creek, if you are familiar with it. It's a pretty bigger field, but there's a creek in the middle. And not to be able to find a place to feel secure or bunker down, I don't like. I don't like not being able to find a place and have my own thought process of how I'm going to move up, or have a person that's going to help me move up. So I like open play with about at the most 10 people on each side. That's what I like to do.
So 20 total.
Yeah.
So Woodsball is your favorite.
It is.
Will you play others or just Woodsball?
I'm sure if you got me drunk enough, I'd probably play a lot of things. Speedball scares me. I think I've played speedball a couple times when it was just practice between the team. But like, if I actually had to go against Coco in like a real situation, that scares me. I don't need to be shot from that close distance by Coco. Or Luke, for that matter, because Luke is rapid fire. I don't need that. Just let me just hide behind something and use my little corgi legs to run somewhere, and I'm good to go.
Cool. Okay. So what made you continue to play? So you like playing Woodsball. You do play scenarios. You said you didn't enjoy the first one, the first scenario, but you enjoyed the second one. What has made you just continue playing, especially after the first one you didn't even like?
Honest to God answer, you. I like hanging out with you. You enjoy it. We get to do something together, and I'm sure a lot of ladies have that answer. that they do it because their man does it. And I'm not going to lie, I do it because you do it. But I get to share something with you and I get to grow. I'm very competitive, and to be able to play something that isn't reliant on size and still be competitive and athletic, I enjoy. And I enjoy you being proud of me and us being able to work together on something that's just our own.
Would you play without me?
Probably not. I don't know. At this point, maybe. Early on, yes, Loki, that's how I feel.
Quiet. Quiet, baby boy.
I guess it would depend on who I was going with. I wouldn't go by myself to Three Rivers and just play. But if you couldn't go and Coco and Luke were going and they wanted me to go with them, I would. Or our female ladies that are,
Our female ladies?
Our female members, if they just wanted to go out, I would go out. But I wouldn't go by myself.
Okay.
I'm sure no woman wants to hear that as an answer, to be a strong female role model, but I don't really care.
So now you mentioned that you didn't enjoy the first scenario that we did. Was that your worst ever? Was it the worst, or was that just you didn't like the first one? But you had a worse one?
Collectively, that was the worst one. Yeah. Maybe Ion, first year we went, was maybe worse.
Why?
Because there's a lot of people at Ion. I also got shot in the neck, and I still don't know how I got shot in the neck in the pitch black. I'm still upset about them, still a little bitter that I got shot in the neck from the same angle of where you were standing. So I don't know how you didn't get shot, but I got shot in the neck.
Yeah,
that still bothers
that ball
me.
must have curved around me and hit you. What was the best scenario you've ever done?
Mission Masters. Yep. I think World War I. The one when I was in the tank. Is that World War I?
Yes.
Mission Masters, World War I.
Why?
I felt that I was productive and useful.
That's it?
Yeah. A lot of it is, and I think it's because I'm a very competitive person. I don't just play to play. I don't play, and specifically with scenarios, just go out and have a good time. If I feel that I'm not contributing to our win, or am I doing something that's going to better us in the long run, it's not fun for me. I have to feel that I'm contributing for me to have a good time. And that's just because I'm competitive and I want to win. And I don't think that you should play scenarios if you don't want to win. When we go out for open play and we just play, I'm not competitive. I just go, I try to get better at the sport. But scenario day, bring it or get off my field. That's all I have to say.
Okay, so now you like Woodsball, but you go to a lot of scenarios, and at this point, you've commanded 3 scenarios. You have another one coming up soon. If you don't like scenarios, why do you command them?
So I don't have to play them.
Good enough answer.
Specifically, so with Mission Masters World War II, Invasion of Normandy, because that was being held at Three Rivers, I didn't think that they were going to do D-Day. 68 caliber productions, I didn't think that they were going to do that at Three Rivers. They could have done it at the one in Ohio, which I'm not going to mention because I'm not going to give them any notoriety. But you know who you are. And I needed a back-to-back win. Because, again, competitive, crazy person. And that's why I did Mission Masters. But for D-Day, I just remember hating doing D-Day. I didn't feel that there was any organization. I sat in a hole. I didn't know what I was really supposed to be doing. And you love it. You love that. You love running around with your gun, shooting everybody, and commanding and being a leader out there. And I know that if I wouldn't have done it, you would have not done it, and then you would have been grumpy at me. So I figured I can sit in a tent and bark orders at people. So let me do that, and you can play and have a good time, and we can be together. And then I lost the first D-Day, and then I thought, well, I have to redeem myself. So I did it. We won last year's D-Day, and now because of my competitiveness, I have to go for back-to-backs.
And so the next one is D-Day again.
D-Day again, yes.
And are you going to win this one?
I think so. I hope so. I don't know. We have the same American general, or the same person who generaled America last year is generally again. And from hearsayers, I know why he lost last year, but he also knows why I won last year. So he could definitely change things up. I think he knew he was generaling not even a month before. I think it was like a week before. So he didn't really have game plan. You and I planned probably, a month and a half ahead of time. So now that he knows he's general with less than a month to go, I'm sure he's planning and strategizing and switching things up. So I have faith in the people that I recruit. But right now he has the advantage. But don't worry, I'm competitive.
Why does he have the advantage?
Because I didn't know his game style. And now that he knows, I think he has the advantage because he has more time to prepare. So I got the general that wasn't prepared, that went into it kind of thinking he was going to win. I remember talking to him and just kind of having a nice conversation. And he just had this very cocky demeanor of he was going to blow me out of the water. And now that he has this time to prepare, I don't know what his planned game is. So I'm not cocky. I'm competitive, but I'm not cocky. And I have faith in the people that I have recruited. And I know that what you and I have been planning on top of what ideas we already know will work. I don't think they're taking the beach, though. If we do anything, we're winning beach.
So without giving too much away, because you don't want anyone on the American team, to watch this and learn how we're going to win. What do you usually do before a scenario to plan for it?
We plan a lot, and we make diagrams, and we sit there and we analyze. And you're usually the mainstream. Otherwise, we typically think about the same things. You just say them first. But I think why you and I work and why we won is that with the strategy that we had, we also had contingencies behind that strategy. So if something didn't work, we knew what to do to combat that not working. So I think having an understanding of how the game works, of what worked last year, what didn't work 2 years, that we just keep tweaking and fixing. And I don't know if the other general has that. I don't know if he has somebody that's going to combat ideas off of him, saying that sucks. We also have the strategy of playing Risk for numerous years. And I think that helps. I think having that mentality and game strength of you have to go into strategy, playing those games and looking at the bigger picture and noticing when I never played Risk before I met you. I played a lot of logic games, a lot of card games. I never played strategy games. And to go from playing it the first time we ever played it to playing it now, understanding the board as a whole and not just looking at one area and seeing the 1 or 2 steps you can make, but seeing 8 steps ahead or seeing 3 steps in North America that you can make and 2 steps in Australia that you can make to get into Asia. And I think that helps us. I think that's you, me, and other members of Dunedain who have that risk strategy. It helps. It works.
Why do you think we won Mayan?
Mayan? Communication and amazing teams. Amazing players who've been playing scenarios and just the game for a long time.
So now you mentioned wins and losses. Why don't you go through the 3 that you've generaled so far, and which ones have we won and what have we lost?
Okay, so I've generaled 4. I generaled Ion twice and Mayan once, or for those out there, Mission Masters, World War II, Invasion of Normandy, and I've won all but 1. No, that's a lie. I've generaled 3. I'm on my 4th. I've won all but 1.
So we lost the first one.
We lost the first one.
How did we lose that? Or by how much?
We lost by 187 points in the last 3 minutes of the game.
We were winning until the last 3 minutes.
We were winning until the last 3 minutes. It was a flag captured in the last 3 minutes, and it was our flag at an original hold that we owned in the beginning.
Ouch. That must have hurt the last 3 minutes.
It did hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it was because a mission was set in place to hold a flag at the castle. And I think John and you both forgot or didn't realize, or you just let it slip because you were in the intensity of the last 3 minutes. And if we would have held the flag, we would have won. But we lost the flag, so that made us lose the mission. And so at the last 3 minutes, the flag dropped and we lost.
Now the next year for D-Day, you generaled again.
I did.
And what happened that one?
We won. It was a matter of there was a fight happening, I think, between like 3 connecting territories, and it was very close on who was going to take them. And then a play was used. And I don't want to take any strategy away or talk about how the gameplay is for 68 caliber, but there are cards involved, and a play was used that gave the Americans an advantage. And then I realized that they were not allowed to do that because it was at a specific time point that you were no longer allowed to do pretty much anything. You could just fight and try to get a flag. And he played that, and removing that, not that you got a penalty for playing it ahead of time, but him not being able to do the maneuver that he did solidified the fact that we won.
Would we have won if he was allowed to do that?
I honestly don't know. It would have been very close. I think it would have come down to less than 100 points.
How much did we end up winning by?
I think we won by around 600.
So it was a big deal then.
Territories are big deals. I think because the territory, connecting-wise, it would have been 2 territories that would have dropped, and they would have been worth 500 points.
And then, so this year we did Mayan.
Yes.
How much did we win that by?
A lot. Over 100.
Do you know?
It was 54. No, it was 54 to 116, I believe. Is that correct?
So we won quite a bit.
Yes.
Now you mentioned a couple of times recruiting.
Yes, I recruit.
How do you recruit?
For some people, for D-Day, I asked one of the players on Whiskey Squad, or I told him that my butt was better than Smiley's, who was the general at the time. So I used my butt to get people to come on down.
And it worked, didn't it?
It typically does.
All right.
I'm such a good female role model.
So enough of the scenarios there. What gear do you use?
So I usually use a mini GS with the additional pink barrel. I did not come with it. That's specifically from the ANS. And then I use a Ninja carbon tank, which again, isn't this out of commission? All of my gear is out of commission at the present moment, but it is 45. It's very lightweight. It's adorable and tiny like I am. I have Vulcan chest protection. I have a shawarma that I got from Skirmish that doesn't really have a brand, but it's a cutie. And then I have dyed pants that I borrowed and never gave back to. I think they're men's smalls. I don't really know if I think they're men's bottoms. They have to be because they have the protection in the front. And then my mask is an Empire EVS, which is a very wide frame, and it could have a HUD system. I think that's a lot of gingerbread for me, but it's very wide. There's no visor. You have a big wide spread. And then I don't know about other women. I have specific paintball underwear. They're Hanes boxer briefs made for women. And so that way they look like little biker shorts. And that way I can change and not show everybody my goods.
So your gun currently is out of commission. What do you use right now?
I use,
It's not sitting over there.
it's not sitting over there. It's Planet Eclipse LVS.
LV1.
LV1, I was close. Not really, but
Now, whose gun is that actually?
it's Raven's. And then again, the tank is carbon fiber Ninja.
Now, what type of shoes do you wear?
I wear hiking boots that specifically are backpacking boots, and the difference between hiking and backpacking is that they wrap around your ankle. And I originally just had regular hiking boots, or I guess they're shoes. They're not really boots. And I wanted new ones to just go hiking in, because
What's all that noise, Tom?
you know how I feel about those mountains, Dan.
Hey, stop chewing on shoes.
But I feel that with that ankle support, stepping over rocks or tripping over sticks and roots, my ankle is more protected. And I probably shouldn't say this, but I don't have a lot of ankle. I haven't had an ankle injury. But with the other shoes, I've sprained it, not really bad, but like stepping down, I've hurt it. But with the ankle protection, I don't even feel any issues in my ankles.
What have you ever been injured on the paintball field?
No. I mean, I've had bruises from paintballs, and I've gotten hit in unnecessary spots. I think the worst bruises, the worst injuries I've had were at Mayon. I got hit in the hand, and it started to bleed, and I didn't even realize it. And I had a scab for a while. I think that's the worst injury I've ever had.
What would you like, Stephen?
Has anyone ever pissed you off on the field?
Yes.
Give me an example of how someone got you real heated.
Oh, so many. once, so on the creek field, far side, there was a tree and a bunker that went like this. And when I say bunker, it was twigs and sticks and wood planks that went like that. So from this side, you were on top of the hill and you can shoot. From my other side, it was houses and it's in the ravine where the creek is. And nobody told me that this tree fell down. So I go to my spot, and I hate this field to begin with, but I go to my spot, and I realize I have no cover. And I'm getting hit from here, and I'm getting hit from here. And I got hit, and I went down because they were still shooting at me. And I couldn't even put my hand up because they were still shooting at me. I definitely couldn't leave the field. I tried to lift my hand out, and I screamed, "I'm out." And I kept getting fire from both sides. And I don't like being overshot. I don't like being lit up. Just stop. Like, if you keep shooting at me, I can't leave the field. And that was, there's this one ref at Three Rivers. I don't know why. Every time I play with him, something bad happens.
Mm. Do you think it's like something he does, or is it just like bad luck?
It may be a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
I think if maybe he just doesn't know me like other refs do. I have two nice,
mm-hmm.
refs that I am friends with. But I don't feel like he is aggressive when people are not playing safe.
Okay.
And in the end, safe ball or paintball, statistically safest sport. But when you play with idiots and you play with people who aren't paying attention to the rules, it's dangerous.
Do you feel that people view you as an easy target because you're a female?
In the beginning, yes. Usually I have a lot of good gear on, and they think just because I have good gear that I'm worth something.
Mm-hmm.
But then I play, and they kind of I've never heard anybody say anything negative to me because I was a female.
Mm-hmm.
I know that in the paintball community, there's a lot of women who get treated disrespectfully or who've been involved with sexual harassment. I've never had that issue. I've never had a man say anything to me. Maybe that's because I go with my husband. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But they usually don't say anything until I prove to them what I can do. And then they're really like, I don't want to mess with you, or you're kick-ass, I need you to be on there. And I've had that numerous times, and that always feels good, especially being tiny and looking like I'm a 12-year-old child.
Okay. When there's other females on the field, do you feel that it's like, I don't know, there's times where it might be like empowering, like, yeah, we're females, we're doing this, or do you feel like there's a lot of like pettiness, like, oh, I'm gonna be better than her, or?
I wouldn't say petty. Usually the females that I've played with are there because of their husbands or boyfriends or their children. And in that scenario, they're pretty, like, we're powerful, let's play together, let's move forward together, and that's not an issue. There were two girls at one point, and the one girl, whether she knew what she was doing or because she actually knew what she was doing, or she just had the equipment and she looked like she knew what she was doing, I'm not really sure. But I tried, we were on the same side of the field, and I tried to work together with her. And not that she was like, stick the middle finger up, I don't want to work with you. But she didn't necessarily want to work together as a team. I don't know if that had anything to do with her wanting to enforce her womanhood, or just she's not a team player. Because there's paintball players who it's all about them. They don't really care about you, especially in open play when they don't know you anyway. You're not on a team. That I'm going to do my own thing, and if I can get the flag, I can. But I really don't care about my teammates as long as I can look good doing it. And I honestly don't know what this woman, her situation is. She seemed like she was a good player. it just took me aback because it's the one time where I felt, why wouldn't you want to work together or be a team and push forward? Yeah. And at one point, I remember I was out of paint. So I was really just trying to help her move up because I couldn't do anything. And at that point, I was like, okay, if you're not going to listen to me, forget this. I dropped my gun and I just ran. Because if you're not going to help me, if you're not going to be a part of being successful together and you want to be successful alone, you go do your own thing. I'm going to do my own.
You ran where?
I ran towards the flag.
Did you get the flag?
I did get the flag.
And you won?
And I won.
That's all that matters.
That's awesome. One more question from me.
Yes, Steven. Anything for me.
So I see some pictures on the background of Dan's computer there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys probably have some of those posted like on your website or.
I believe all of them are on Instagram actually.
Instagram. Okay. Does anyone ever recognize you from those pictures?
No.
How did you feel taking this? Did you feel like super badass and sexy or?
A couple of them super badass and sexy. A couple not so good about myself.
Okay.
There's one picture. I'm laying on my back. I have a mask on. I think is probably the best picture I've ever taken, ever.
Wow. Okay.
So that picture makes me feel good. I've not gotten any negative or positive comments outside of the internet realm.
What about the one that's the thumbnail for this video? It's in the top right there.
That one. I see a lot of things, but I am my own worst critic. So it's not my favorite. I definitely don't look bad, but it's definitely not my favorite. I'm hard on myself. You can't ask me what I think about how I look because this is, again, I'm not a good female role model at all.
Now, so our home field obviously is Three Rivers. You mentioned that many times. Is that your favorite field?
Considering that I've not been to many, out of the ones I've been to, yes.
Why is that?
I like the format of it. I like that it has houses and buildings, but it also has forests, and you have a lot of different range of what's going on. You know what field is what field. It's organized. It's not just some big free-for-all. And I don't like free-for-alls. I don't like that I could be on another side of the field that I'm used to being taped off and I could get out from there. So or like hiding under Brussels like I'm actually in military combat. That's not why I play. I know that's why some people play, and if that's great for you, I'm not going to offend anyone. I like playing it as a sport, not as simulation for the military.
What annoys you most about people on the paintball field?
Taking masks off. And I think that's number one. Overshooting is probably the other one, but I'll let overshooting go because you're never really quite sure. But I've seen so many people take their masks off, whether they're on the field, whether they're on the side and they think that they're safe. I'm a prime example that you are never safe from a stray ball flying at you. And even if you're not going to, regardless of, you could lose an eye. If you get hit in the face, you're breaking a jaw, you're losing a tooth, you're breaking your cheekbone. It's not just about losing an eye. Like, you have a ball hit you at 280 FPS, like that's going to do damage to your poor face. And let me tell you, women do not like men with no teeth.
Unless you're Canadian.
Unless you have a lot of money and you play hockey. Then maybe.
What are your 3 don'ts on the field?
So don't take your mask off. Don't drink. And typically they don't let it be a free-for-all during open play, but on the field we go particularly, and I've never seen a field where you couldn't. I don't know about skirmish during Ion if those people are drunk. I'm sure that they're drunk from the night before, though. You technically have a weapon in your hand. I don't understand why you need to be drinking and being on the paintball field. And don't lose your temper, because that just makes it worse. It's very helpful to blow off steam. You get to shoot people and they are alive again in 15 minutes. But I think a lot of people are hot-headed and they lose their temper and they either overshoot or they get really angry about a bad call. And we're not hockey. You can't just punch somebody in the face or ram them against a board. And I think there's a lot of hotheads that just need to relax. It's a game. In the end, it's a game. You're not getting paid to do this. No lives are on the line. Just let it go. Listen to Elsa. Just let it go.
What are your 3 do's?
That's harder. Hold your gun properly. This took me a very long time. Holding gun properly. I'm gonna just getting to running with your gun up. You should really never run with your gun down. I know that's difficult when you're trying, like on the off break, getting somewhere fast, but I don't think I really paid attention to how like beneficial that was until Nyon. And then I have fun. I don't think I let myself just have fun. I put a lot of pressure on myself to be good or to be good at something or to impress you. And I know you tell me not to do that at all, and I do it anyway because I want you to be proud of me. But that's the type of person I am. I want people to be proud of me and the stuff that I do. Not that I need accolades or a pat on the back. I just need somebody to be proud of me, and that's my own self-esteem issue thing. But have fun. Go out there and just shoot people. Makes you feel much better just shooting people.
That's 2.
No. The holding gun properly and then holding your gun. I guess, is that you want to make that the same thing?
Oh, that's fine.
It was really kind of 2 different things.
Is there, if you could tell a new player just one thing, whether it be any of the 6 you just gave me or something different, what would be that one thing you would tell them?
Don't run to a bunker with more than one person.
So be alone in a bunker.
Not necessarily be alone. Pay attention to the size of the bunker. And if you're going to run with somebody, use that person to your advantage. And when we have little kids, I tell them, don't all stay at the bunker. Get to that bunker and then have one person move up or move to a different bunker and use each other. So use your team. It's a team sport. I'm a team player. I always have been. And I don't think that unless you're playing one-on-one, you have your team for a reason. You're not going, and the type of game we play capture the flag. Unless you're doing 2-on-2, or which you're never doing, you have people. Play it as a team game, and you're going to win.
And what hobbies do you do outside of paintball?
Well, I make all the decorations. So I paint, make flags. I paint things for all of the fun activities that we do outside of life.
Alrighty, and that's all the questions I have.
You know what? One question you didn't ask me that you asked Coco.
What's that?
Why did I decide to be a Duke-a-Dime?
I didn't ask that because you were a founding member. You had to.
Oh, I'm a founding member. I had to. I wasn't sure if I was considered a founding member or because I'm just connected to you that I had to be.
Ah. Well, you can answer that if you want to. What made you decide to join Duke-a-Dime?
Well, you know, I sleep with the head honcho, so might as well get all the perks of that.
You have any other questions?
No, I think I asked everything I wanted to know.
Cool, cool. Any closing statements for you?
Come to D-Day and be Germany. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, June 16th, be a German, kick some ass.
Awesome. Well, let's open it up. Anyone on any social media have any questions for Adog before we go? Well, of course, right now we just have 3 YouTubers.
Who's on?
No one's on right now on Instagram. Anyone have any questions for Adog before we head out?
Do we know who our 3 people are?
One's Luke. I don't know the other 2. They haven't said hello, so I don't know who they are.
Well, hi, people that I don't know. And I already said hi to Luke.
Anybody at all? I know there's a bit of a delay, so I'll give it a second. But that's it for our first interview, unless we have anything else pop up. I hope you guys enjoyed their introduction to Adog, General Adog, as we like to call her. Next week will be Coco, and then we'll go from there. We'll do the rest of Dunedain, and then we'll head on to others. I have a couple other ones lined up already. One that I'm in negotiations with. He's already agreed to it. I just got to work it out. I'm very excited about. And I've teased this before. I'm still not going to give away who it is, but when you guys see it, you'll enjoy it. But that's it. Everyone have a good night, and we'll see you live tomorrow.
Good night, YouTube and Instagram.